Hey, welcome to a new video. Today I am at Rocket Bunny, Pandem, TRA Kyoto. So many brands have come out of this place, but it's so special to me because it was one of those initial shops that I shot back in the day. You can see the original Speed Hunters featured car sticker here on Miura-san's 4.6 Customs S13. We're gonna head inside, talk to the man himself, and get to see also what he's been working on lately and what is coming in the future. Really get a sense for what the brand is all about.
TRA 京都三浦と申します。京都でロケットバニーパンデムっていうボディキットを、35年ぐらい前から作っています。よろしくお願いします。
Alright, so we're gonna go see the CNC machine, which is always the first thing that was the biggest impact for me because, of course, Miura-san was the only one in Japan to ever do this, allowing him to render the timing of creating body kits very, very short. And it's cool to see. Kanado. So he's also using it to cut canards and splitters and so on, wing stays. And this is still the machine that I shot originally for Speed Hunters back in 2008 or 9.
ある日その林レーシングの社長と行ったアメリカで見たその CNC、アメリカのインディアナポリスかな、インディアナポリスでなんか英語3文字のショーが今でもやってて、早稲だけど、でそこでエンジンブロック削ってたやつがおって、それ見てこれで作ろうと思って、でそっから機械を、そのショーの時にずっと見てたらすごいやろって声かけられて、すごい言うて、でこの機械なんぼや言うたら、いやこれは高い5000万ぐらいするし、うちらはこの機械屋ではないと、ソフトウェアやと、でこのソフトウェアなんぼすんねんって言ったら400万円で、じゃあそれ買うし言うて、ほんでびっくりしてて、お前機械ないのにこれ CD だけやぞと、でかまへん、機械は日本にあると思うし、でその CD 買わしてもらって、ほんで当時大阪の機械団地っていうところで、中古の機械がいっぱい置いてあって、でそれノートパソコンに CD 入れて持って行ってつなごうと思ったら古すぎてポートがないのよその機械に。どうやって動いてるのこれ、いやこれはパネルで操作するのと、あとはその紙テープ、
はい、昔のシステムね。
紙テープ
なんか60年前。
そうってなって、そうなんやってなって、でちょっと落ち込んでって調べてたら、紙テープの穴を疑似的に作り出す機械みたいなのがあって、それを買って23日に突っ込んでその機械につけたら動くやろうって思って、初めはそれを買ってもう一回ちょっと動かしにテストさしに行ってくれ言うて、で行ったら動いて、おさんもびっくりしてたけど、でそっからスタートしてその機械を購入して、でそっからそのボディキットを CNC で削り出したみたいな。
So this is what the finished product of a mold would look like once the CNC machine has done its work, carving precisely into all the grooves necessary to create the mold and rendering the actual production timing very, very short compared to manually doing it. You can see the mountains of machined polystyrene powder just literally like covering everything like snow. So this is the second machine that he's invested in, and unlike the one was literally controlled by a paper Morse code, I guess you could call it, this has actually got its own little control panel here. You feed the data into from the computers on the side. So there you go, that's how the headlight covers are made from this machine here. タイミングはどのぐらい短かったシステム？前は言った6ヶ月ぐらいかかった。
6ヶ月ぐらいが、まあその時はスキャナーも持ってないか存在しなかったからあんまり3-4ヶ月に短縮できたんやけど、でスキャナーも今はもうレーザーでザーって測れるけど、昔のスキャナーは接触式のポイント式ってなんかカメラの三脚みたいなやつの上に機械ボンつけて、そこにアームがあって、それでピコピコ測っていって、でそれをつないだら線になって、でそれで初めやってて、そっからスキャナーが進化してレーザーになったかな。でそれと同時にレーザーで撮る範囲がちょっと少なかったんで、撮れる範囲が、XBOX のこう人が踊ってるやつとかを読み込む機械を、その時トヨタとか、いろんな会社がその自動運転のために、その 3D スキャンするプログラムをコアを公開してて、でたまたま兄弟のやつが来ててうちに、でそいつにプログラム書いてくれっつって、でその 3D スキャナーでそのカメラでスキャンできるようにっていうのを作ってもらって、でそれでやってて、でその次にレーザーが出てきてレーザースキャナーになって、でCAD もなんかたまたまなんか雑誌をコンピューターの雑誌を読んでたら、付録に昔は CD がついてて、普通捨てるんやけど、なんか知らんけど持って帰ってもうて、この CD なんやろう思って入れたら、3D ソフトと CAD ソフトのベータ版がついてて、でそれ入れたら、その中の1個がライノ 3D っていうライノセラスっていうなんかちょっと前まで標準やった 3D ソフト、サーフェスモデラーがついてて、これはもうすげえなと思って、でその時ちょうどうちにトヨタ系らも、でその人らはトヨタに CAD を入れてる人らで、その人に頼んでこれ輸入してくれって言って初めて輸入してもうたがそのライノだから、サーフェイスモデラーで当時そのもっと上のやつはあったけど安く出てきたんで使ったんが僕初めてかもしれない。そこからずっとやってるからもう35年ぐらいずっと書き続けて、
タイミングどんどん
そうそう、もう急げ言うたらもう1週間でできるけど、今は
1週間
1週間でただその大急ぎのやつはもうちょっとしんどいねみたいな。
すごいね。
もう 3D プリンターもあるし、早いところやったらもう3日あったらできるよみたいな。
3D プリンターも使う今？
いや今の現状で言うと 3D プリンターで作るよりも手で作ってる方がまだCNC で早いかもしれない。もう4000万以上とか1億ぐらいの機械やったらちょっと 3D プリンターの方がも早いかもしれんけど。
Alright, so we are following Miura down to all the additional workshops that he's slowly adding to the main old shop here. This is actually a new one I've never been into. And this is where the Porsche project is hiding. It's a wild 997 wide body. Originally kind of commissioned by a builder in France who's creating a crazy rotary powered drift project, but Miura-san made his own car. We're going to take it out today, get some shots of this crazy turbo setup. We're going to pull the car out in a second, but I just wanted to show you guys how it's a pretty complete kit, starting with a front bumper redesign, kind of initiating that widening at the front, going into his signature. Very much Pandem inspired over fenders with a kind of like flatter top surface. And onto the rear. これはエアサス?
エアサス前だけ。
Ah, 前だけ. Air suspension on the front. Sitting next to the 2J powered crazy pickup he built for Tokyo Auto Salon maybe 2 years ago. I forget now, but what a crazy thing this was with the tubular frame at the back. Move over to another garage here to check out a cool project that Miura-san is working on with BRE. So we get to see all the scoops today on the new stuff that he's building, including some stuff that hasn't even begun yet. So we get to kind of have an understanding of where he's going with the whole company and the design and the future cars that are coming out soon. And this is a really cool one because it's been 5 years in the making and they got going now. They found a fresh chassis to work on. This really cool Datsun 510 coupe, which is being built in collaboration, like I just said, with BRE, and it's probably going to be running an engine we're going to see in a minute. Nothing to do with Nissan, but they're actually going to drop a K-series Honda motor in this, and it's going to be super sick, and one that should be done in a few months. You can see the blue bumper there, kind of hinting at the coloring. So the guys here are just finishing polishing the paint that has just been applied. As you can see, it just got a fresh coat of very white, like it's almost got like a alpine white feel about it, inside and out. I spent a lot of time refining the chassis and dealing with the rust that is kind of like impossible to avoid on older 70s cars like these, but really cool, interesting project they're working on, and you can always bet that Miura-san is going to do something unique with his stuff. So K-swap, probably going to run Unus Roadster transmission, and probably going to be looking super cool with overfenders and everything. So this has basically become their workshop, kind of dealing with chassis preparation, and of course you have a little railing around here that they pull this tent to cover the entire section before they start spray painting. Kind of like a machine room where the engines and subframes are prepared. You can see there's an EJ20 here, probably left from the Time Attack project, which we are going to look at next. So we're going to go over to another building that Miura has just moved into and take a look at that pink crazy project he's been working on for the last year. You see they even have a bit of inspiration on the wall here. Old school Datsun 510 doing its thing out on track with those original works fenders that kind of started the whole boom and inspiration behind all the wide body conversion that we're getting out of Japan these days. Right, the tour continues. We're moving to the next building, and this is where this crazy thing is waiting for us. ロータスは前と後ろは全部カスタムだったでしょ。それでボディつけた。今なんかエンジンは何使う？
今のエンジンロータス使ったやつは EJ25 っていうエンジン使ったんやけど、なんでかっつったら低いから。
So if you recall, we did see this car right down to a bare chassis at Tokyo Auto Salon earlier this year. And you can see how the cowl at the back hinges backwards to reveal that twin turbo EJ20, 1100 horsepower, monstrosity of a build. And sitting right behind it is pretty much a exact, I guess, second car to what Mad Mike is running in New Zealand with this crazy rotary 787 inspired build. Of course, it was all designed and made by Miura-san, all the tubular frame and all the suspension layout. And Miura was actually going to build his own car, but you know, as projects happen, they tend to get put back in the warehouse waiting for a little bit of inspiration. He was going to do something crazy, but he realized that with the car weighing in about like 500, 600 kilos, whatever engine he was going to put in here was going to end up being pretty crazy and almost dangerous. So it's sitting here in the back burner waiting for maybe another idea to come, but incredible creation from scratch, right down to the FRP roofline and front glass house. It looks absolutely nuts. Ooh, that sounds insane.
であとパワーがアメリカの会社、名前忘れたけど、そこに頼んだら1100馬力対応まで作れると。で初めてのエンジンやったんやけど、一回やってみようということで、エンジンはそれ積んで、ミッションはサムスナスで、ケースだけ送って、で中身はサムスナスにしてもらって、で EJ25 の4駆を前のドラ車だけ使って、後ろはもうカットして、で、センターデフを溶接して RR に変更して作った。
つくばは1回テストしたでしょ。
1回というか
まあシェイクダウンテストね。
シェイクダウンになっちゃって、なんか何やかんやエンジントラブルっていうか、僕も EJ 初めてやったから、なんかおかしいって言ったら、まずなんかプラグがなんか長いのと短いのがあって、そんなん知らんくてこれ長いのいるでってなって、でたまたまセッティングさせて持ってたところが兵庫県のスバル専門のところやって、でその人にいろいろ教えてもらってやっとできたみたいな。何やかんしてたら結局シェイクダウンになっちゃって、でこれちゃんとまっすぐ走んのかもわからへんしまあそこ一周だけ乗ったけど、で、そんな中飯田さんがちょっとなんとかそのシェイクダウンしてもらって、タイムはもう1分5秒ぐらいしか出なかったんやけど、まあ走れることがもう分かったんで、来年もうちょっと詰めてなんぼなんでも1分以内にしたいなみたいな。
sick, sounds so sick. Had a bit of trouble starting because it's been sitting for a while with the race fuel, probably running E85. But slowly warming up. We'll try to push it outside. It's actually sitting so low, it's touching already. But we'll see what we can do to get some clear shots of it. Okay, that's even beginning to sound like a Subaru. Wow, this looks incredible. Well, it has a lifter. All right, he's gonna drive it out onto the street. This is nuts. You can hear the air actuator for the transmission. It's trying to get reversed. There it is. We pulled it out onto the street just to get a look at this thing. It's so sick. He's gonna go and get his shoes now. That's crazy. I can't believe we pulled it out onto the street. We'll have a look at how the front cowl opens up. I'll give him a hand on this side. Okay. Okay, you can see the frame up front. So basically, Lotus, Elise, center section, glass house, everything, and then all the front and rear subframes and frame itself has been rebuilt to house a radiator up front. We've got the tank for the lifter on the front. And you can see the tires that were used. That time attack. And back here, the rear swings open backwards to reveal the EJ25 fully tuned twin turbo. Kind of literally like side by side, it runs one turbo, one intercooler each, and the double wishbone suspension, and a little cooler here for kono kura wa nan desu ka? Oil cooler. You can see the little intake on the roof, feeding air down into the oil cooler, and two exits for the intercoolers. You can see the very Lotus-like interior here. Of course, the aluminum frame is all from Lotus. The air tank I was looking at before is actually both for the air suspension, or rather the air lifters here at the front, as well as the actuator for the Samsona's sequential transmission. Literally looks like a 1970s, 80s Le Mans prototype racer. Pretty much all made by Rocket Bunny, front and back. You can see the interior, all stripped out, one single Recaro bucket seat. This is something else. So he's even got the staggered setup, right, with the Workmeisters up front being 18-inch and the rears 19-inch. 295s at the back, and you see the massive Wilwood 4-pot calipers. Right there behind the engine, you can actually see the Samsona's transmission, the transaxle. It's actually easier if I show you the transmission from back here, how it pops out. Jeez. This thing is sick! So crazy. Completely avoided even checking out the E30 Pandem kitted Beamer next to the crazy wild tubular frame race car. It always looks so good with these overfenders, and he's going from kind of like a Hakosuka oil cooler placement, and I can't remember if I've ever seen this before, but it's completely stripped out, 2 race seats and all roll cage at the back. Can always expect to find really cool vintage wheels at Miura's place. These are some SSR Formula Mesh sitting on very much expired Dunlop Sport R90s. And there's even this Pandem kitted 190 Mercedes outside sitting on stock wheels, ready to go to the Shaken. Of course, you can't run crazy wheels in Japan when you get the check done, so they'll have to sit like this for a little bit.
いろいろセッティングするの。
次のタイムアタックの車は何作りたい？
それはまだちょっと言えへんねんやけど、ちょっとなんかようわからん車でやるんで、楽しみにしといてください。
This is another area of the TRA headquarters here. This is where all the kits are boxed up, ready for shipping. You can see just how much he keeps in stock here. So much stuff ready to be shipped worldwide. So that's what a full kit would look like. Pretty gigantic box, which of course will take a substantial amount when shipping. And always outside Miura's shop is the very first car that I shot of his, the 4.6 Custom GT Rodeo Special S13. And I asked Miura-san if he's got any plans with this car, and he said he might actually sell it. And then he checked and noticed the S13s are going up in value substantially. So I told him we should probably do a restoration, just bring it back to like perfect condition, and maybe see if anybody wants to buy it, take it off him. It's one of the old school ones, and it even has the old Speed Hunters featured car badge that we created back in the day, 15 plus years ago. All the memories. And there's another little storage unit here right outside the main TRA Kyoto office, and we'll have a look inside because we've been given the okay to look at a future project that may happen. That's right, this is a Lotus Esprit, one that Miura-san wants to play around with, sitting right next to this red Hakosuka, which I've seen countless times. He picked it up maybe 6-7 years ago when it was available and quite affordable, so he thought he'll get into one of these and just keep it until he figures out what to do with it. And you got the original 4.6 Customs front fender there for the S13. Sick little Yamaha Kyusha scooter. Again, more vintage rims, another set of SSRs, some steering racks, and lots of other goodies, including a few transmissions and some old school OZ Lotus rims. You never know what he's planning. There's so much stuff giving you hints on what the man is thinking. So we're in Miura's office now, and there's another Kyusha scooter here, the same Yamaha Passo that we just saw in the other garage. This is actually his first scooter that he stole off his mom and customized. You can see the expansion chamber on that 2-stroke exhaust. It's so tiny but so cool. And of course, there's always so much to look at here. All the inspiration. Penzo logo there. So many badges from cars that he's worked on. Even a air horn set. And the famous mask that we used in the EF shoot probably 10 years ago. That's so cool to see this again. And we're having a sit down with Miura and having a look at some of his designs. This is actually the front of the Lotus-based time attack car, so you can see how it's all laid out on the front side of things, and how the scans look when he sticks them in CAD and starts refining the designs. Even scanned the engine and the transmission, so you can see how it's all laid out. So actually most of the engine is covered up by the, I guess, first part of the rear cowl. And then the opening part pretty much rotates backwards to reveal the 2 turbos. Inlet manifold, the intercooler, the oil cooler. So that's pretty much how we saw it at Tokyo Auto Salon. And Miura-san was just saying it took about a month to design the whole thing, inputting the scans and then developing the front and rear, including of course the suspension layout with a double wishbone front and back, and then the body. So this is actually the back of the office where Miura-san used to do all the packaging of all the aero kits. It's kind of been opened up a bit and used as a secondary office space for all the employees he has now. And one cool thing of course is all the stuff he has on display, the collectible stuff, starting with magazines and miscellaneous stuff, right down to these crazy old Macintosh computers. It's got a Macintosh Plus here, and right behind here, the Color Classic 2. All right, so we pulled out the 997 just to get a look at it out in the open, just really to take those proportions in, because you don't really understand it until you can have a proper look at it and you really kind of see what I mean with the angular shape to the overfenders, giving it a whole together different look to RWB conversions, for example, and anything else that's been done with a 997. And then of course when you get to the back, you have the insane turbo setup here, which Miura-san is having a bit of an issue with, because the turbos actually sit so much lower than the engine that they do leak oil. So he's going to try figure out to do some little catch can type situation and manage that. Something we see often done on turbo conversions, much like this, that are done by ProModit. They always have a little side tank next to the turbos to kind of manage the situation. But what an insane looking thing. So the kit pretty much consists of a series of parts, starting off with the cut rear bumper. It's kind of like little ducktail from where the additional spoiler sprouts out from. The rear overfenders, the side skirts, the front overfenders, and of course the front bumper. And it's such an angular kind of take on the aero side of things that it really does match well with the 997 lines, which aren't as bulbous as some of the air-cooled cars that came before. And even the first liquid cool, of course, the 996. I just feel it flows really nicely. Something unique and different. I think he nailed this one, 100%. Keen to see if more people around the world kind of go for this design and start creating cool projects around it. And of course, the car sits on his very own mesh wheel designs. Let's take a look inside, where we find the same Recaro bucket as is used in the Lotus-based Time Attack car. Still work in progress, so there's no passenger side seat. There's a bunch of stuff going on at the back here, but it's the shifter I wanted to check out. Pretty cool billet conversion here to bring up that shifter position and tighten up the feeling. This is actually based on a Carrera automatic, so it was manual swapped. And as Miura just told me, the main idea behind this turbo kit is just to make it look kind of impactful and aggressive. It's not really for crazy power. He's actually running 0.5 bar of boost, so it's just a little bump on the kind of stock flat 6 NA version of the engine would be producing, just as a cool car to kind of get around, something different. And it's really cool to see Miura-san kind of starting to do more foreign cars. You know, we've seen him do like 190 E-Mercedes, E30s, a bunch of American stuff, but now Porsches as well. I hope you enjoyed the video, not only understanding where the brand has come from and how Miura-san got started, but also where he's going in the future and the crazy cool projects he's working on now. We got to see some really interesting things that are going to be happening in the next year or even further. So a massive thank you to Miura-san for allowing us to film here today. Make sure you subscribe and check back soon for more.